In football, some players are remembered for the goals they scored, and others for the trophies they won. But every now and then, you get a player who's remembered for how they made you feel. Today, we're talking about one of those icons, the smiling superstar, Ronaldinho.
And that smile? Man, it said everything. It wasn't just for the cameras. It was the purest expression of his love for the game. In an era of high-stakes pressure, Ronaldinho was a breath of fresh air, reminding all of us that football could be, and really should be, fun. His joy was just infectious.
So where did this totally unique way of playing come from? Well, to really get the man, you've got to go back to the beginning. Back to his roots in a city called Porto Alegre in southern Brazil.
He was born Ronaldo de Assis Moreira, and he grew up in a family where football was, well, everything. His dad, João, had been a player. His older brother, Roberto, was already a pro at the local club, Grêmio. So for him, the game wasn't just a hobby, it was basically the air he breathed.
But his childhood was also hit by a terrible tragedy. When he was just 8 years old, his father drowned in an accident. It was a devastating loss. But his brother Roberto stepped up. He became more than just a brother. He was like a father figure, supporting the family and making sure Ronaldinho's incredible talent didn't go to waste.
And that talent was just undeniable. He joined Grêmio's youth academy when he was only 7. A decade later, at 17, he's playing for the first team. By 19, he's winning trophies. It was an absolutely meteoric rise, and by 2001, Europe was calling. He moved to Paris Saint-Germain, and that was just the start of his takeover.
Which brings us to the chapter that really defined him. In 2003, he signed for FC Barcelona. Now, Barca was a giant club, but at the time, they'd kind of lost their way. Ronaldinho didn't just join the team, he completely transformed it.
You see this number? 14? That's how many long years it had been since Barcelona had won the biggest trophy in Europe, the Champions League. With Ronaldinho leading the charge, they finally broke that curse in 2006.
And this proves he wasn't just some flashy entertainer. The guy was a winner, and the whole world saw it. For 2 years in a row, he was officially crowned the best player on the entire planet, winning the FIFA World Player of the Year award.
But, maybe nothing captures his magic better than this one moment. Getting a standing ovation is a big deal, but getting one from the fans of your biggest, most bitter rival, Real Madrid, in their stadium during El Clasico, that's legendary. It just proved his genius went beyond club colors.
His success wasn't just limited to his clubs either. On the international stage, wearing that iconic yellow jersey for Brazil, he was a key part of one of the most exciting teams in football history.
He was absolutely central to the Brazil squad that lifted the World Cup in 2002. As you can see, he played 97 games for his country, those are called caps, and scored 33 goals. He wore that famous shirt with the same creativity and flair he showed every single week in Europe.
So after reaching the absolute peak of the mountain with Barcelona, the next part of his career turned into a kind of global tour, a journey that eventually, led him back home. After Barca, he joined the Italian giants AC Milan. Then he started his journey home to Brazil, playing for Flamengo and then Atlético Mineiro, where he won South America's version of the Champions League, a huge deal. His tour continued in Mexico with Querétaro before one last stop at Fluminense. He basically took his magic on the road, and fans all over the world showed up to see the legend.
So, when you look back at it all, what's his ultimate legacy? It's not just sitting in a trophy cabinet. It's actually in the way the game is still played and watched today.
He was a pioneer. He brought Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game, from the streets of Brazil to the biggest stages in the world. He made skills and tricks a central part of the game, not just something you do for fun. He inspired millions of kids to go outside and try to copy his moves. And he proved that in a sport that's often about tactics and brute force, joy could be the most powerful weapon of all.
And that's really what it comes down to. Every no-look pass, every ridiculous dribble, and every single time he smiled, he gave the world a simple, powerful reminder. He showed us what football is supposed to be about. It's a game, and games are meant to be enjoyed. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. In today's game, which is so hyper-analyzed and data-driven, where systems sometimes seem more important than players, will we ever see a star like Ronaldinho again? A player who just played with such complete freedom, such creativity, and such pure, unfiltered joy.